a film I've been interested to see for a while was The Assassination Bureau, originally released in 1969 and very loosely adapted from an unfinished novel by Jack London, author of White Fang and The Call of the Wild. The book has, or the film rather, has a very convoluted setup. A female would-be journalist around 1910, determined to break into the all-male preserve of journalism, brings a story to the head of a leading newspaper that there is an international organization that will murder people for money. And she is determined to expose this and make this a major story and thereby cement herself as a female journalist. The head of the newspaper encourages her, and so she manages to, after several leads, connect with the head of the organization and tells him that the target she has in mind is, in fact, him. He, however, feeling that the organization has become corrupted and too interested in money, decides to accept the commission. So all the other members of the organization are now going to be paid to try and take him out, while he, in turn, will try and kill them. Little knowing that the vice chairman of the organization is also the head of the newspaper, who wants the head out of the way as well. It's very complicated. It follows very much in the style of films like Casino Royale or The Final Program. It has that very stylized late 60s, early 70s element of Edwardiana. And this extends to the main cast. We have Oliver Reed as Ivan Dragmilov, the Russian-descended head of the organization. We have um, Diana Rigg, who was still on the Avengers at the time as Miss Winter, the would-be journalist, and the the English Lord is played, of course, by Telly Savalas, who isn't even bothering to do an accent. This was, of course, the first film with both Savalas and Diana Rigg. Later that year, they were both appearing on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the best James Bond film. There's not going to be any argument about that. The film is very episodic and kaleidoscopic, with lots of hammy set pieces, lots of international travel. There are long sequences in Venice and Paris and crazy shenanigans in a brothel, and it's it's a lot. It's a film containing a lot. The premise alone is so convoluted and takes so much time to set up that the rest of the movie is very much sort of a transcontinental chase as the plans of the other people in the bureau become clear, that they plan on launching a world war as a way of making huge amounts of money with their shareholdings in the arms companies, which is the same plot as Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, um, 40 years or so later. Um, Oliver Reed is excellent. I've always championed him as a great talent, and he's terribly charming and English and has a great self deprecating screen presence. Diana Rigg seems a little stiff and a little lacking in assurance in her performance. I think it's possibly because she didn't really get on with Oliver Reed. And the film doesn't really give her very much to do. Once the premise has been established, she's really just tagging along with Reed while he becomes the main character in the film. Savalas is a fine villain, but again, the character's a bit sort of flat and one-dimensional and not terribly interesting. Although there's a lot of kaleidoscopic adventure and colour and all kinds of crazy adventures, and it is certainly diverting, it's not really any kind of great film. And although it's an enjoyable hour and 40 minutes or so, it might not necessarily be worth going out of your way to see.